I recorded a video a little while ago, but it came out all funky. I don't know what happened to it. You'll just have to listen to me. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Uh, I tried to go to the WMA at the end of March. And when I got there, I found all the gates closed. Now, I knew that the south area, the south unit, was going to be closed until April 27th. That's what they planned on. But I didn't know that the gate to the area that I was trying to go in March was going to be closed. I went there, set up my tent, and in the morning got up to drive to that spot, which is about 2.5 miles away from my camping site. And the gate was closed to get there. I saw the biologist, Matt, coming out of that area. And he came through the gate by the main road going in the duck hunting area. And he locked the gate behind him. Well, I told him where I was planning on going. But he didn't tell me that the only road that leads to that spot was washed out on the last flood, and you can't drive through. The only other way is off of Highway 287, and it's only a couple 100-yard road to the rock pile. But I can't walk 2.5, 3 miles to get to the spot that I want to go to. That's why I drive in the south unit and drive down that 3-mile road to get to the spot that I want to be. I park a stone's throw, literally a stone's throw, from the spot that I have caught the Sasquatch on video dozens of times. If the trees weren't so thick, you could see my truck where it's parked. But the trees are so thick, you can't see the parking lot. You could talk to somebody from that parking lot. It's that close. But anyway, I packed up and went home. I'm not in a condition anymore to walk 3 miles to get where I want to walk around in. I know they're there. There's one right here. Look at these two pictures, that one and this one right here. They're in my videos. That's where these pictures came from. It's hard to do this backwards. But anyway, I've gotten to a point that I've started putting different videos on my channel. Basically, we've been lied to for thousands of years. Humans are not what we are supposed to be. If you notice in the Bible, in Genesis, it says that the people in Methuselah's times lived to be almost 1,000 years old. Why is that? Well, some people say that the calendars were different back then. Well, yeah, the calendars were 5 days off of our calendar. that makes no difference in 1,000 years. That's a long time. They lived that long. Why? Because they did what they needed to do to communicate with what we call God, or the source of all things. I've had these questions about what Christianity was about when I was 11 years old in a First Baptist church in Commerce, Texas. Couldn't ask anybody. Had I asked anybody, they'd say you need to get that stuff out of your mind and listen to what you're told in church. Well, that's actually what the problem is. We're listening to what we're told in church, which is lies. Sounds wrong, but it's right. It's the truth. I keep trying to put in comments on people's videos about the Christ letters, which is actually something you can find on YouTube. And people are reporting me for putting spam in the comment sections. It's not spam. It is related to the videos that I'm putting them in, putting the comments in. As you can see, I still have some anxiety, but I'm getting a lot better. It used to be where I couldn't even talk on these videos, and now I can. I have the confidence to do that now. Why is that? Because I learned to meditate. I learned to get closer to God. And that was taught to me by, here goes my memory now, William Donahue. He has a channel here on YouTube. It's under his name, William Donahue. Now, he's not the William Donahue from England that has a lot of videos on YouTube. He's the teacher in New Jersey, I believe. It was. He's passed on now. But his teachings were out of New Jersey. They worked in basically a basement in a church in New Jersey for a long time. But he teaches how we have been lied to and programmed not to be our natural selves for thousands of years. And he gets this information from the Bible and medical books. Like for example, the Ark of the Covenant. The description in the Ark of the Covenant and the description in the building of the temples all describes what's inside of our head. The nerves and the brain systems that are inside of our head. That's what all that is describing in the Bible. There's 12 main nerves that control the entirety of your brain. Those are the 12 tribes of Israel. Those are the 12 I'm not very good at remembering this stuff. I remember the concepts, but it's hard to remember the details. The things that they are describing in the Bible about the buildings of the temples, Solomon's and David's, or whoever built the temples is describing the construction or the components of our brain. And in meditation, which is what prayer is supposed to be, but prayer was developed by the churches as something different than meditation. Meditation is a way to get closer to God, to commune with God. God is our source, the source of all things. They talk about the Big Bang when there was nothing. What went bang? There's only one answer to that. God went bang. If God is our creator, he is what went bang in the beginning. He is what we are all made of. He is what everything you see here is made of. God is everywhere. Jesus taught this in the Bible. The kingdom of heaven is within you. The temple that is being taught about in the Bible is the temple that is built without hands. That's this temple. I know this sounds crazy to a lot of people. Just like the lessons in church sounded crazy to me when I was 11 years old. Couldn't understand why God failed in plans in the first part of the Bible and kept having to change plans to make our world better. Why would God fail? It's an inconceivable concept. Why would God give his own son to die because the first human beings that he created messed up? They were faulty. They sinned. That's what sin is. Doing the wrong thing. God created people that were faulty? Really? That's what the church teaches us. That can't possibly be true. The Bible was actually created after Jesus left this world. It didn't exist. There was some scripture that exists that they studied and taught, but it wasn't what we have as the Bible today. It was the Old Testament. It was the four canons that Moses put together. We don't know what those four canons actually say, because what they've done is taken those scriptures and changed them in a way that we can't understand them. And Jesus and the disciples talk about parables, talking in parables. Why they question Jesus, why he speaks in parables. It's because that's how they were taught to speak to the public when they had the knowledge that we as human beings are all supposed to have. The people in power wanted to keep that power to themselves. And that is why we are so confused today. That's why we're so messed up. That's why our society is not civilized. We are not living in a civilization. There's too much killing, too many wars, too much greed, a whole lot of sin, which God doesn't actually uh, consider, doesn't even take it into consideration to judge us. Jesus did not die on the cross for our sins. Jesus died on the cross because the religious authority at that time had him killed because he was teaching against their teachings. That's why Jesus was killed. He states this in the Christ letters. Christ does not care about religion. God does not care about sin. We live with our problems because we do the wrong things. That is what hell is. These are the ideas that I had when I was a child in church. And I couldn't understand what they were teaching me because they were teaching me lies. That's why I had all these questions. But anyway, I'm to the point to where I can't take the misinformation anymore. It's not just the misinformation in our politics, in our American society. It's the misinformation that the Vatican started with. The Roman Church, the Greek Church, all those authorities started the lies. That's why we don't live to be 1,000 years anymore. The reason that we die is that we give up. We give up doing the things that we're supposed to do. We give up trying to reach God. It should be all of our goal to reach higher, make our consciousness higher, to reach the consciousness at least to those that visit this planet, that come from millions and millions of miles away. Now, we're the dumbest planet in our galaxy. I guarantee you that. If you know Star Trek and you know who the Ferengis are, they're some very unintelligent people. Well, they're the people that represent what we really are. That's what the Ferengi are. They don't understand things. You have to be that stupid to think that somebody came from thousands of light years away to check out our planet, because the people that were on that ship, no, let me straighten this out. Thinking that they do that at light speed. At light speed, it would take them thousands of years to get here. Do you not understand that? Do they live thousands of years? Probably. But it doesn't take them long to get here. It doesn't take them that long to get here. They get here pretty much instantly because they have the higher consciousness. They know how the universe operates. They take advantage of the quantum mechanics that we're being taught about in our science, that people are misunderstanding the connection between us and everything else is one thing. That is the source. That is God. That is the one who put out part of himself so that we could experience life. We could go through all the trials and tribulations that we go through during our life. And we can grow. And our main purpose is to grow enough to reach back to God. God is the source. He's what everything came from. Our world is not actually a solid world. It's just our perception of it. We think it's solid. It's actually, everything you're looking at has more space than anything in it. We're made of atoms. Those atoms make up molecules. There's tons of space in the middle of those atoms and molecules. It is the attraction to each other that makes this solidity that we see in our lives. It's what holds them together, the bonds that make it seem solid, when actually it's not. Christ says when he was in the desert, he was able to see what he called a shimmering. And if you've seen the movie The Predator, his cloaking ability, that's what the shimmering is that he's talking about. He can actually see the space in between all the molecules, all the atoms. That's what happened to Christ in the desert when he was tempted by the devil, they say. Well, I've got a whole lot more of this to talk about. But right now, I'm going to end it here. I had a lot of trouble. My batteries and my camera weren't charged up. They just died because I hadn't used them for so long, and I couldn't use my camera. And then the camera on my laptop here was telling me that it couldn't save a video. And now I've got this long video on here that I hope that it saves. I don't know what the problem with the computer function of the camera had, but hopefully this is my what's this called? Software editing program that I'm capturing this video with. So I just thank you all for coming here and watching these videos and seeing my Sasquatch, my friends in the woods. They're the ones that started this channel. They got me to sound it like they have something to do with it. They actually don't. They are the reason I'm doing this. I've never actually had any contact with them other than the one growl that I've got. And he wasn't too happy, I don't think. I think he was a young one. He was only about 30 feet from me. But anyway, y'all have a good weekend, or rest of your weekend. This is Sunday. Have a good week. And God God bless you all. And I hope you learn with me. See you later.